What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty P here with another episode of Steelers Touching Under, previewing the Steelers versus New York Giants. 5 keys to victory. 5 keys to victory for tonight's game. Looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Steelers hopefully can go up 6-2 on the season. What a start that would be. That would sit them atop the AFC North. All right. Well, which is where they currently sit right now. Well, let's start off. Let's get straight into it. Let's get straight into the 5 keys to victory. Number 1. Hold the ball. The Steelers, you wouldn't believe this. They've improved tremendously in the last couple of weeks. The Steelers are now 4th in the league for the most amount of time per drive with 3 minutes and 9 seconds, according to Pro Football Reference. This is terrific. You want that to continue on a team that's performing against I think they're 2-5, the Giants. You want to make sure that you're holding the ball. You're not giving them any room to be able to do something that is going to let them get into a rhythm, get into their sync, be able to start, being productive on offense. That makes the defense, which is actually doing quite well this year overall. They're just aided by a poor offense, not playing complementary football. You don't want to give them, the ability to, as I say, get in a rhythm, score some points, get some momentum, get some confidence, especially considering the Giants actually, I think they're 9th in the league themselves for the most amount of time per drive. I think it's 2 minutes and 54 seconds. I think it's 9th. It's 9th or 11th. I'm pretty sure it's 9th. So holding the ball is key, because if the Steelers aren't going to hold the ball, they're going to hold the ball. And the Steelers, we're still seeing what Russ can do. We're still working out. He's still working out the chemistry with some of those wide receivers and also the receivers in general when you start talking about the running backs in the mix and the tight end as well. So we want to hold the ball, number 1. Number 2, 45% or better on third down. Now, the Steelers were better on third down last week, but this is still an area where they're not doing too well on the season so far. They're really not. And this has to continue to improve. This is going to be a really key stat, particularly come time for the divisional games, because the divisional games, it's something that they really got to be able to do this. Other teams are going to put them under pressure, and they've got to be able to do it better. Now, they averaged 38.5% on the season so far for third down conversion. I want to see this tick up to 45% in this game. That will also feed into holding the ball more. And if you can do that, I do think it's a massive key to victory for them. All right. Next one. No, we're going too fast. Offensive line. Keep Russ up. So when I went and had a look at the New York Giants, I was surprised to see they were 31 sacks on the season so far. Think about that. Like, some seasons, it's a massive achievement. The league leader sits there around the 60 mark, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. They're on 31 sacks already. And then I was like, man, that must be number 1 in the league. Well, it is right now. Number 1 in the league, most productive sacks. Denver Broncos have 30. It also helps when you're playing on defense a lot. So that's got to be said in there big time. And it's kind of funny because they've got double the amount of sacks that the Steelers have had. Double. The Steelers have only had 15 sacks on the season so far, which I don't mind that. Like, we've had guys in and out, particularly on the outside linebackers. The Steelers also, they've had an interesting start to the season, I think. I'm very happy 5-2, but it's, there's definitely some improvement there. But they're holding the ball more, which means that you don't have to sack people as much if you're holding the ball. Means you can't. It's very hard to sack someone when you're holding the ball. Obviously, we want to see Steelers scoring lots of points. We want to see them holding the ball. So this is actually, in some ways, an okay statistic. I'd still prefer the Steelers to be in the early 20s and be more productive on defense. But the point is, the offensive line, particularly without Zach Frazier, need to keep Russ up. Receiver diversity is essential. So what do I mean by that? I think what I liked and I said would work last week with Russ, and that's why I said Van Jefferson will make a big play, or he'll do something pretty impressive there, is I was saying that they needed to throw the ball around to the tight ends and work them into the game, work in the running backs, and then that will ease up the pressure on Pickens to be the only, not the only receiver, because he's not, but to make the big plays. And that's exactly what they did. First pass, Darnell Washington, play action. We saw Connor Hayward try and get into the mix. We saw Pat Freiermuth with some big plays. And that opened up the offense. We saw Calvin Austin with a big third down play because there was a diversity in the receivers and anyone receiving the ball at all three or four, technically, if you think about fullback, at all four different positions, were getting the ball from Russ. He was dishing it out. Doing it in this game will keep their defense guessing. It was really important with how their defense is actually performing despite being on an overall poor team. So, respectfully, for the Steelers, you do the diversity thing on this with the receivers and who you're passing the ball to, and I think you're going to come away with it with a sweet victory. Number 5, shut down the run. Now, this was kind of interesting when I went and looked at it because, yes, they've got a headline name in Devin Singletary, but they're not exactly like the Giants aren't killing it when it comes to rushing. So you might be going, why am I focusing on that? Well, because they're 25th in yards from rushing. They're 30th. They've only had 3 TDs. They're 21st in attempts. Rushing's not a thing. But you do see this at times in the season when a team with a worse record or a team that's not playing as well as another team gets allowed to get the run early, and it destroys the favorite or destroys the home team or destroys the team with the better record. And if I go back to the games last year that the Steelers dropped that they shouldn't have, that saw the benching, there of almost Pickett, you saw the injury Pickett, the benching Trubisky. Arizona game, Patriots game, both of those particularly, the Steelers did not run the ball well. And because they didn't run the ball well, that put them on. Sorry, they ran the ball okay in a couple of times. Sorry, when they didn't shut down the run in those games, the other team got momentum, and that hurt them. Connor had a great game. Ezekiel Elliott had a great game. Now, Connor, you would have think last year was a better prospect, was playing better. Was a better player technically than Ezekiel Elliott. They both ran all over the Steelers, and the Steelers lost 2 games there that they should have won, right? They really should have won those games. So I don't want the Steelers in the same boat. You want to make sure that you're shutting down the run early and often and putting that team under pressure. Trust me, I had Daniel Jones in my fantasy team. I haven't played him. I swapped him out this week. I swapped him in and out when I got injuries. The guy got 5 points last game total. He wasn't in my starting lineup. He got 5, right? I have Jordan Love as my starting quarterback. He had 5 and he went out didn't even finish the game properly this week. So ridiculous. Shut down the run, put Jones under pressure. You're going to have a good time. But they're my 5 keys to victory. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Is there a key to victory that I've missed out that you think is really important? Let me know in the comments. But otherwise, as always, go Steelers.